be revealing the marching route. But yeah, maybe if you can, I don't know if you can yet or not, but if you can let us know the final location, that would be good. But if you can't let us know that just yet, maybe just explain why you can't.
Yeah, definitely. So we've had a change of kickoff. It's 350 metres from Roma Street Station. So I came into this, and the only thing that I wanted was to put it on in places where people could take advantage of public transport because it's only 50 cents. So Roma Street Parklands was like the pick of the bunch. It was right near the train station, right near the city. Um, it's the goat of venues for this sort of thing in my eyes. Either that or, down South Bank, but you're not allowed to go there because it's all corporate, you see. Anyway, this time round, I think it was the Spina Bifida Association has an event on at the Parklands Amphitheatre on Saturday night, and they've closed it all down. Like they've put barricades and all sorts of stuff up to keep their event safe. But they're not unloading or packing up until Sunday morning. So the times couldn't be the time they finished didn't mesh with the time that people would start turning up. So there would be no physical way of getting into the park. So I didn't press it. I just said, yeah, that's cool, because I think the spina bifida people are more than entitled to use that facility. Don't want to pressure them at all. I think it's a great thing what they're doing. There's a couple of other venues floated around. Brisbane City Council wanted us to use a big park outside of the city centre. I said no. And I'm glad I did, because we would have had to get public liability. So then it was the police liaison, Darren, he asked me if I wanted Emma Miller Place. And, part of the concerns they had was the numbers. So I looked at Emma Miller Place and said, well, there was COVID rallies there, and it wasn't really big enough then. Like, if we get a turnout on Sunday similar to what we had or better, there's no way people will fit in there at all. And then the police turned around and said, oh, well, what we can do is close Roma Street off in one lane. We can close, I forget the other one, but we can spill the crowd out onto the streets. It's fine. We'll put the barriers back to where you need them. And I thought, yeah, well, that's cool. That'll get news headlines if we block off Roma Street. That'll be quite funny. So I went with Emma Miller, and we set the route. Now, police have advised me not to release the route details yet. They're picking up on chatter about counter protests, and because of where we're going, they're concerned of a couple of choke points. So we've agreed to keep the route secret, and the finish point will be very close to where the finish point was last time. And I can't really say much more than that until the day. So just in respect of that, the chatter that they're picking up on, and I've been fed a few bits of information from other people I know, is that there'll be two counter protests, one starting from Musgrave Park and the other one's located at Queen's Park in Brisbane. So there's quite a lot of tension building already with the socialists and the communist Antifa blue-haired freaks. I don't know. Look, I thought they would have knocked off now that Palestine and Gaza thing was sorted, but it seems like they just want to keep rolling. They've found a cause for Sunday. So, look, the police have assured me that they've got extra resources allocated to this event because of what's been happening behind the scenes. So, yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. But as long as the route's protected, they can't mobilise and cause any disruptions. So it just makes sense to not really go into the route as yet. So sorry to disappoint everyone, but it's still all secret squirrel business.
A question that I can ask that probably won't reveal anything that you can with your answer. is, okay, so for the people that are wanting to attend, but they can't because of mobility problems, so they're wanting to attend but not actually march, is the final location easily accessible via public transport?
Absolutely. So there's a halfway mark on the march where you could catch a train to Roma Street and a bus directly there. At the finish point, there is a bus from Roma and Central to the finish point, like 10 metres away from where we are. So there's that's what I said. Like every time I've tried to organise this, I've always had the transport in mind. I've always had disabled people in mind that they can get in and out safely and without too many dramas. Um, yeah, this one's pretty good. It's all flat. Last time it was a lot of it was downhill into the guts of the city, but this one's pretty flat. So um, we'll have to keep an eye out for emu running people over.
I love that. All right, so for the people that are in here or listening back to this later on, um, once Bender has told us the exact time that we can release the details of even just the ending location or the route or whatever, we will put a post up on the March for Australia page, as well as all the organisers will reshare the post. I will set a scheduled post for the morning of, and you guys, all you have to do is, you've now been told that there is public transport available straight to that spot. So all you guys have to do is make your decision that you're still going to go and be ready to check the pages the morning of, and you will know exactly where to go. But yeah, you can attend because there's public transport available. And yeah, just keep an eye on the pages for that update and it will be supplied. Um, all right, we'll go to questions and hands now. Kevin's been very, very patient, waiting a little while just for us to get through all that. So again, if there's any questions at all directed towards Bender in regards to Brisbane, or if it's a general March for Australia question, now's your time to request a mic, jump up and ask your question. In the meantime, Kevin, what's going on, man?
Hey man, how are you all going? Like I can see so many like lovely souls here tonight. Sorry, I've had to drop out of this space like half a dozen times because this space just keeps going funky. So I just wanted to get in and get Bender while I still get him and me on the same space and I don't have to send fucking messages because like as fun as it is trolling on the net like we do, I needed a 2 minute conversation with you for a sec, man. I know about a week ago, one of the other dudes was like, "Hey, do we need marshals and shit in the city?" And like, I'm not an organizer and shit, but as I've said before, I'm coming from Ipswich, and man, I feel like half of fucking Ipswich is going to come with me at the moment. But are you needing marshals or anything like that? Do you like? I understand you've got it. I don't want any locations or nothing like that. But do you want any extra fucking like civilian fucking support, or are you all good? Or other than that, yeah, man, I have said I'm bringing the band, and I think Koala told me today she was scared people were going to spray shit up a vent hole in a koala suit. So I told her to come find the music and we'll protect a butthole. Other than that, I'm good. I'll jump off the space if anyone wants, and if you can answer that, dude, I'll get back to you soon.
Yeah, no worries. How are you, mate? Look, we've got a lot of marshals already. But there's always room for more. So if you want a marshal, turn up at 11, right? 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we'll get you a vest and do the briefing and all that sort of thing there. So, excuse me for a second. So last time we did have private security. There was 10 security guards there. This time there's 20. So it'll be a lot more organised, and I may as well just go right into it. So I'll address the complaints. So last time everyone was upset that the PA wasn't up to scratch. People up the back couldn't hear it. So this time we've tripled the PA. So there's 3 times the speakers, and they'll be spread right out. So if you can't hear, I don't know, maybe get a hearing aid or something, because the amount of speakers that we've got is ridiculous. Should be able to hear it from the start point, I would think. What else was there? There'll be about a 5 metre cordon from the stage, so we don't get people rushing up like last time. The only other thing different to last time is I won't have an Indian fella up there having a speech, so you don't have to worry about that. We do have some pretty high profile speakers that I won't be talking about yet. Again, that's a suggestion by QPOL to not release those names, because the little blue-haired freaks might get their trannies slipping gear or something. I don't know. But yeah, the stage is bigger. The sound will be bigger. There's more speakers. There's it's everything that was negative that came out of the first one. I've tried to, well, the whole team has tried to address and cater for. So onwards and upwards, I hope. But yeah, if anyone wants to marshal or help out, get there about 10:30, 11. Come and find myself or Scotty or Dusty, and we'll get you squared away.
All I'll respond to that before you kick me off mic, man, is I've actually organised, like, everyone I know out here is meeting at the Bowls Club at 10 o'clock, and I'm giving them until 11 o'clock before we actually jump on the train. So I won't get in there until about an hour later. But if I could message you once I get into town, maybe, and maybe we could, I don't know, we're probably all going to be too fucking pumped by then, man, but I don't know, we'll talk on the day. I'll just talk to you on Twitter, and we'll go as we are.
Yeah, no worries. The only thing is, like, if you want to help out, get in there early, because you got to do a briefing with our security guys, so everyone's on the same page and operating off the same book. Like I said, there's a bit of stuff going on in the background, and police are all over it. But for anyone that's wearing a vest and want to marshal, just get there early if you can, sober, and we'll crack on and have a smashing.
Yeah, no, I'd love to, man. Otherwise, we'll just be solid citizens, and we'll all have a great day. Hope someone else can jump up and have a crack.
Awesome. Yeah. So anyone here, I see a few Queenslanders in here. Request a mic if you've got any questions for Bender. Malachi did request. I gave him a mic, but then he popped down. So I'm not sure if he changed his mind, or if something glitched out. So if you had a question, feel free to request and jump up. But yeah, we need some questions. And considering the amount of complaints that I read, we should have a lot of questions. So come on, guys, what's going on?
Yeah, we get all these messages. The same thing happened last night in the Melbourne space, and we get all these questions about all the different states, and then we get the organisers here, and then no one wants to come up and ask any questions. Oh yeah, so don't be afraid, guys. Don't be shy. We're not going to bite. Bender might bite a little bit. We'll see how we go.
Speak for yourself, mate. I'll latch on. One thing I forgot to mention was last time around we had the McMullen playing acoustic guitar and singing. We've taken that was all positive feedback with that, by the way. Everyone sort of loved that vibe, so we took that on board. Here he is now, and we've got Rob and his band playing. So it'll be a lot. Like I said, when I say it's a bigger, bolder event, it's going to be a party. So bring your family, bring your wives, your kids, come down, have a march, and then enjoy probably one of the best bands in Brisbane smashing out awesome tunes through a massive PA. It's been a long time since the big day out, but I reckon this will come close.
Absolutely, man. It'll be a day to tell your grandkids about if you're still around in Australia, to tell them about it. So, You know, that's why we're doing this.
I love that. All right, and in his awesome true self style, as soon as we said we need some questions, good old Preston requested a mic and chucked his hand up. So Preston, go for it, and then we'll go to Dead Set.
Well, don't say nice things about me yet, Beck, because I'm about to make a very controversial statement, and I may make a few enemies on this space. Bender, it is no secret, in my opinion at least, that Queensland was the best event out of all of them. And I hope that doesn't get me blocked by Jesse and Beck, but it was certainly better than Victoria, I will say that. But well, one thing I love is the messaging, and there's two things I love about the messaging. First of all, it's actually asking for something. It's not just March for Australia, because I love that slogan, but it's not asking for anything. It's stop mass immigration. So it's very, very clear on what we're asking for. The other part I like, the second part I like, is it's just one simple message. We're not inflating all these ideas that 50 different groups have an issue with. It's just can we come together to ask for one thing? And I think that's something I've never seen in rallies before. Bender, was there any kind of discussion around that messaging, specifically around those 2 points? And because I think it's been excellent. I think it's been great. This is what makes the march for me. But was there any kind of discussion about the messaging at any point?
Great question, Preston. And look, Queensland is the best. It's no secret. Okay, so across Australia, yes, Queensland is in possession of both premiership trophies because we have the best AFL team and now we have the best NRL team. I don't know what soccer does. I don't follow the round ball sport that well, but hey, I'm sure that cup will come to us as well. It just seems to be a national sort of identity that Queensland seems to be, you know, the premier state. Funny that.
You had the state of
But
origin
no,
this year too.
seriously,
You just got state of origin earlier on in the year as well. So you can't deny it at this point.
that's
I'll
a
give you
sore
that.
point.
Whose side are you on, Jesse?
I wasn't going to go there.
I feel like I've come into this
You're on the
space
lounge.
and made it really, really controversial. I know you're dealing with many controversial issues, Beck, but I feel like I may have just come up with the most controversial issue. I hope it doesn't cause a split between the organisers. I hope I haven't caused any ongoing issues.
Well, no, look, I think everyone knows Queensland was the best, and it was expected, really. Like, we've got the best weather, the best beaches, we've got the best trophies. It's just, like I said, a natural progression. So we were expecting that, and we came into it expecting to be the best, and we were on the day, every day, because we're Queenslanders. That's how we roll. But back to your original question, fluff aside, um, provocations at an end. Yes, once you sit down and actually look at this whole problem of mass immigration, you try and dissect it. Well, this is what I did. I dissected it. I looked at to the different areas that it affected, both in the community, politically, and further abroad in policies and whatnot. And you actually soon discover that this mass immigration ploy by the federal government is it's a Trojan horse. Um, and I firmly believe that if we can force the government to end mass immigration, it'll be the chink in armour, finally. It'll be the first stone to fall out of the wall. And once that happens, it's just going to be a natural thing that the emperor's clothes will be no more, so to speak. If we can get the mass immigration stopped, I firmly believe it's an inroad to have everything else reversed and repealed. Like I said, it's the Achilles heel of government. It's not a racial issue, it's a policy issue. And once people get it through their heads that this isn't about witch hunting, this isn't about running people out of the country, although there's 2.8 million people that could go tomorrow, being the temporary visas and illegal aliens, they can go. which would also drop house prices by between 5 and 20%. But don't tell anyone because they don't want you to know. Okay, so there's a whole raft of legislative changes that could happen once mass immigration is thoroughly neutered. My favourite one, Preston, is the 820,000 foreign students we could take in per year. So if you get rid of the 2.8 million of the temporary and overstayed visas, right, you could take the 40 billion that Labor Party's wasted for their building a better future for their housing scheme, take that 40 billion, throw that at the education department, and then you could knock down your international immigrants by half, because they contribute 20 odd billion a year. So you take that 400,000 out of the education system, and then you throw the other 20 from building a better Australia into the education system. You could give 410,000 Australian kids a free degree. So there's all of these overlapping little scenarios that could come into play and could actually advance Australia for Australians. So to me, ending mass migration, flood, it is the only thing. It is the way forward. If we stop the flood of immigrants, we won't have these NPCs that'll just support Labor policy and throw digital ID down our throats. Because they're negating our vote quite a bit. So it just makes sense, Preston. And like you said, it's a single issue topic, but it's got a huge spider web behind it. And I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Bender. And I believe I heard Beck say the other day that one day maybe March for Australia will march for a different cause. But right now it's mass immigration. And I hope if it ever does march for a different cause, I hope it always remains a single issue rally rather than amalgamating many issues into one rally. I will stop being an agitator now. But thank you, Bender, and go Queensland.
Whatever, Preston. I was so freaking tempted to just mute you, but anywho's,
Yes, mate.
I
Thank you
like
for the
you, so it's
question.
fine.
Thanks, Preston.
Preston, you're most welcome.
Just quickly, before we go to dead set, oh shit, I just had a mental blank and I forgot what I was going to say. Oh no, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, so once mass immigration has been beaten and we have succeeded with that, yeah, moving forward, March for Australia will only ever have a single topic focus. We've seen how successful that can be in gathering the masses. We've seen how many people have loved it, despite a very loud 5 or 10 people from the freedom movement that have complained about it. The large majority has agreed that the single focus mission is way more achievable and welcoming to people in that respect. So we'll go to Dead Set, and then we've got Juggernaut and X.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, and I've got to make it fairly short. How is March for Australia going to affect Australia Day next year when that comes around? Are we going to do something big for that in each state, sort of attach the two kind of thing and sort of merge and combine? I figured while we got a whole bunch of the organisers in here, just that was the question.
Well, I'll jump in. Sorry, Beck and Jess. It's Australia Month, mate. January.
Oh yeah, Australia Month. My bad. Yeah, carry on.
So I've already started
There
planning
are
for that.
plans for Australia Day. And it's kind of still we're just focusing on the 19th for now, and we're trying not to get too far ahead of ourselves. And we're just weighing up strategizing the best way to go about something like Australia Day. But yeah, there'll definitely be something. Obviously, I think we need to make, regardless of March for Australia, Australia Day needs to be huge this year for Australians. So regardless of what we're doing with our organisation, I think Australia Day needs to be massive next year, sorry. So we'll go back to hands unless Beck had an answer as well.
I do have something to say, but I think Bender was still. Were you still going, Bender, or were you done? Or
No, I was just going to say I'm starting to talk to the police about January now. So yeah, it's all good. It's under control.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, we announced it at the last event, the 31st, and we did say like, yeah, we have Australia Day plans in motion, and yeah, I mean, how could we not? It's end mass immigration, but it's also protects our culture, heritage, and way of life. So I think that will be something that plays into it in a big way. I hope that answers your question, Dead Set.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much. Yeah, no, that's great. I'm happy with that. And you've got a bit more time to plan with this one as well. So, yeah, no, looking forward to the 19th, and then I'll be looking forward to Australia Day. So, yeah, cheers. I guess that answers my question. I've got to go anyway. I'll catch us later. Cheers for that.
I'll just quickly say we'll hit the ground running a bit with Australia Day in Brisbane. I've organised the last two in Brisbane, and the first one 2 years ago we had maybe sort of 80 people. This year it was up to like 300 people, and it was a really good day. So there's a lot of people sort of came together already to put on a really good family Australia Day. So we're sort of seeing how the 19th goes, and then if this is like bigger success than August 31, then there's a very clear direction it's all going, and we are sort of hitting the ground running for a really big Australian month and a big Australia Day. I'd love it to be as big as possible.
Awesome. And for anyone that wasn't sure who that was the McMullen Report. He is part of Bender's team up in Brisbane. So if you aren't following him, give him a follow, so that, because I'm sure he'll be posting updates quite regularly as well for everything, since that he's right in the loop. So yeah, I think it was Juggernaut next. But Jesse, are you right to take the reins completely while I go put Bubs to bed, and then I'll be back soon?
Yep.
Okay, cheers. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm using my laptop this time instead of my phone. But I'm just going to bring up something that was, I guess, a complaint that a lot of people had about the Brisbane rally. Now, like, on the whole, I say that it was pretty awesome, but depending where you were in the crowd, when we had the Indian fellow get up and have a talk, now, I know you've probably addressed this to some degree, but there's probably a lot of people that potentially could be in here, and that was something that was pretty polarizing with the crowd. So is there any intent to have something like that again? I feel that it was a bit of a misstep overall. Like, it didn't really dull the day, but I just felt like it wasn't a great choice.
Yeah, no, mate. No Indian guys speaking this time. We've got 16 Filipinos in a choir they'll sing to us. No, I'm only joking. Lessons learnt from the first one. It's all good. We're not going to repeat the same mistakes. So it's yeah, just roll with it, mate. It's not going to be. Hopefully, it'll be a lot bigger. Not saying the first one was bad, but as I said in many spaces up to this point, at the end of the day, that falls on me, and that's fine. Like I said, we learn by our mistakes and we move on. So you can only really crucify someone if they keep repeating, like the politicians. But anyway, that's another story.
All good, that's all I had.
Cheers, mate. We got Canadian girl up, and I thought we had another hand X. I don't know what happened to your hand. Do you still have a question? But jump in, Canadian.
Yeah, I just want to say I really loved the march. I mean, I am a huge NSN fan. I know they're not coming this month, but I was just wondering if you're going to keep doing them every month, like on the 19th, because that'd be really cool. And I had another question. Or maybe if you could answer that first while I think of what my other question was.
I'm not sure if we're going to do it monthly per se. As we just said earlier, we got our next plans for Australia Day, but then I suppose we're just gonna probably roll with what the people want. We're just gonna keep our finger on the pulse of what people want, and kind of just play it by ear.
I kind of think it could spread to other countries if there was some kind of like sort of really steady continuity. And I feel like if Australia just kept banging them out, and the crowds got bigger and bigger, then eventually it would spread to like England and Canada, and that's why I say that, because Canada's nowhere near joining this yet. Except that the media focus and stuff, if it just keeps going on and on, the media would have nowhere to go but to like keep increasing media attention on it and spark some conversations. And I just think it would really affect a lot of other white countries and encourage it. And it was really awesome. And also, my second question was, do you know where we can watch it? Because it was quite challenging trying to find feeds. Is there going to be like specific people that are going to be hosting live cams that we could like know ahead of time? I was all over the place trying to
Well,
find some cams to watch.
no, you're right. We did put a streamers list out before the event, so we did have certain streamers. We'll let Bender respond to the first question though, because